So it turns out the X-H2 was actually a major spoiler for the X-T5 because this really is the X-H2 in an XT body. Now I don't know why I'm making it sound like a bad thing, because who would complain about flagship performance in signature Fuji styling? If you have not caught up on the X-H2, I'd recommend doing so first because I will be glossing over some of the shared capabilities in this quick look. It might not sound the most exciting when I word the X-T5 as a tamed version of the X-H2, but it does make a perfect set of upgrades to the X-T4, enough to move the X-T line to join the front of the pack. The video features on the X-T5 have been spec'd down relative to the X-H2. However, it's pretty apparent Fuji wants to leave the hybrid market to the X-H line and reorient the X-T line to being stills focused. So to the joy of many photographers, they've backtracked from the flip screen design on the X-T4 back to the tilting design on the X-T5, just like it was on the X-T3. Aside from that, the physical design of the X-T series has been more consistent than our economy, so I'm pleased to inform you the X-T5 looks pretty much exactly the same as the X-T4. The most apparent design tweak is probably that defined crease where the EVF block begins, which was a flat design on the X-T4. Everywhere else, button and dial layouts are the same, although one physical aspect that's not the same is actually the size versus the X-T4. I'm sure nobody will notice unless they're carefully comparing them side by side, but the X-T5 is ever so slightly less wide, so it's actually smaller, more compact, which also means it weighs slightly less than the X-T4. Unfortunately, they have omitted something on the X-T5, and that is compatibility with battery grips. There is no longer contact points on the base of the camera, which to me is Fuji's slightly passive-aggressive way of saying, if you need horsepower, then one of the X-H cameras is what you need. But not that this is lacking much in the stills department anyway. For stills, I find this every bit as capable as the X-H2 flagship. It's the same 40.2 megapixel X-Trans sensor, which also makes this the highest resolution APS-C camera currently available. 15 frames per second mechanical shutter, the ability to do pixel shift or quadruple the resolution, 10-bit HEIF shooting, deep learning subject detection autofocus, all 19 film simulations. They really did not hold back on these features with the X-T5. The recording media, however, is a dual SD configuration, so you do not have the option to use the much faster CF Express Type B cards like you do on the X-H cameras. But then again, it's not really like I can afford those Type B cards anyway. But that, I suspect, is the primary reason behind the X-T5 not having 8K and ProRes recording options, which are available on the X-H2. Now, as much as Fuji is trying to position the X-T5 as a stills camera, they have left in plenty of features that still make this a very capable hybrid shooter and still an upgrade over the X-T4. You get F-Log 2, 4K 60p, 6.2K 30p, Full HD 240p. There is a 1.23 times crop whenever you're reading out 6.2K from the sensor, and that includes the 4K HQ modes. No internal ProRes, but you can do external 6.2K 30p ProRes RAW or Blackmagic RAW, albeit through a micro HDMI port. The IBIS on the X-T5 is rated at 7 stops, so on par with the X-H2 and half a stop better than the X-T4. Now, despite the X-T5 being such an upgrade over the 4, I am feeling a lack of excitement here because everything new here we've already seen on the X-H2. But credit where it's due, packing flagship guts into an X-T body does have its unique advantages. You've got your ever-faithful exposure dials on top, and very notably, the clickable finger dials which were sorely missing from the X-H2s. Not to mention, the X-T5 is much lighter, much more compact, and much prettier than the X-H2. So that's my quick look at Fuji's new X-T5. If you enjoyed this, I've also done some coverage on a new 30mm macro lens released together with this camera. So maybe I'll see you there or in one of my other videos.